it. 3, 2, 1. We are live for the first time in a long time. You are 30 minutes late to my house here.
I said 5, but then I looked and it was scheduled for 5:30, so I just assumed I was right on time.
It was scheduled for 5:30 because you were way late and I knew you were never going to make it in time.
I was at a friend's pool party. I thought you were going to go there. We had one car. Kristen wanted to stay. I needed to leave. It's one of those things. Typical Saturday in Puerto Rico. This was my alter ego. They said to dress as who you feel like you are in your inner side.
And what did my wife dress as?
So your wife just dressed like, I made a joke. I said, you just look like who you'll be in 20 years. She just had a big hat and like sewing, knitting stuff. And I was like, this is what I would imagine Katie would be like when her kids are in college.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what she dreams she could be now, I think, a granny. So that was her alter ego.
It gets a little warm in there though. And then this makes me look like an aviator or something.
If you would like to be part of the next critique, head over to fstoppers.com/contests. I think I put a link in the description of this video as well. If there's a problem with this live stream, if there's like an audio issue or whatever, let us know in the chat. This is our first time back in a long time, first time in this new studio, so there's a lot that I'm forgetting, I'm sure. We are also having the most insane power outages and power surges right now, and I think my transfer switch on my generator for my house has broken.
And it wasn't you putting the screwdriver in?
Yes, that's how it's supposed to work.
Okay.
So I've got a generator repair guy coming over like any minute, but we were supposed to go live, so I've told Katie, like, Katie, here's my phone.
That means tomorrow.
Maybe.
Tomorrow's Sunday, so that means Monday.
Maybe
we're good.
Do you want to get to this critique?
Well, talking about the energy, are we about to get Are you going to get Starlink? Do people even know what Starlink is out there? If you have reliable internet, you might only know if you follow Elon Musk and.
Yeah, I feel like most of the people who are watching us live right now probably know what Starlink is, but I don't think I'm getting Starlink. Today on Amazon, I purchased a wireless router that has a SIM card slot in it. And it has an automatic failover switch. So you basically
and that's through AT&T or through T-Mobile or?
I bought it on Amazon.
Verizon.
I'm gonna buy a SIM card from Boost Mobile here in Puerto Rico. I heard I heard that that's good here, and it's cheap. It's like for $35 a month you can get 20 gigs, and it would just be a backup in case the internet goes down.
Okay.
So I will probably do a video on that when it comes in. We'll see.
All right. This was probably announced before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, this is like a 6-month-old critique.
What are we critiquing?
We're critiquing product photography.
Okay. And then have we assigned, is there a new one?
What the new critique is up right now, fstoppers.com/contest. It's your favorite image taken in 2022 so far.
Okay.
All right. Let's look at this image.
This is the highest rated image.
I actually don't think this is the highest rated image. No, okay. I'll tell you when we get to the highest rated image. This one's very close, but it's not the highest rated image. This image was taken by Andreas Wetzel. 3 lights through a diffusion frame, 1 with a standard dish from behind, 1 with a snoot from the left, and 1 with a snoot from the front right. There is an additional light with a Fresnel from the left without diffusion, creating the shine behind the watch. 2 small silver reflectors in the front and above of the lens, and 1 to the left. I mean, I feel like this shot looks really good. One of the first F-Stoppers videos we ever did was of me shooting a fake Rolex watch, and it is so cringe. It was just
If you go to F-Stoppers, you're on the live channel. If you go to the main channel and sort by date and go all the way to the first video, it is so bad. It doesn't even sound like we were using microphones. You can hear like the restaurant and stuff.
And I wasn't comfortable on camera or anything, and it was just, and I had never really shot product photography before.
Don't go to that video.
Yeah, don't look at that video. Are you ready to?
I'm ready. I've been ready for months.
Let's see. Let me do, how can I do, I don't think I can do, yeah, it's not going to let me do that. I'll show it one more time here so everybody can see it. We got to watch. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. 4 stars, we agree. I think this looks really good. I think my main complaint just might be with the background of the image. I feel like the background might be a little...
The whole background or just the top sliver? Like the whole leather look? Or
It just kind of feels like a watch on a couch to me. It doesn't feel like a high-end leather desk or like cool leather gloves or anything. It just kind of feels like a piece of leather laid across a photography table or a leather couch. So I feel like the lighting on the face is really good, but then there's something to be desired for me when it comes to that background.
It's tricky because like if you put too much in the background, it could start to distract from the watch. But maybe you want like a box or like a, I don't know, if, even like a cigar, maybe that would start to like bring too much attention to itself. But some other structure that's out of focus that gives texture, but not too much texture. Is that what you're thinking?
I'm not exactly sure.
Or you're saying scrap the whole...
I mean, I feel like I like the leather in the foreground of this image, but in the background, something about it just kind of feels a little less high-end than the actual photo of the watch to me. It's hard for me to put my finger on.
What about like the highlights around the face of the watch? They look natural, and we know how it was shot. It was probably shot like this in camera or fairly close. Do you feel like you would want more of the specular highlights around the face to like, does this look too natural for a true hero watch shot? I mean, you look at a lot of watch shots, they're meticulously like perfect.
What's your problem with this?
I'm just saying, like right here, you have a little highlight, and then a little highlight, and then some brown, and then a little highlight.
You need to explain what you're pointing at to the people at home.
This little highlight and that little highlight.
Yeah.
If you look at the little, what would you call it, the bevel around the watch, it's got broken patches of highlights, and that's probably because it was shot correctly in camera, and those are the hot spots from the flash.
I don't know that that bothers me that much. I feel like the face of this watch looks really nice to me. I feel like the bracelet, the lighting on the bracelet feels cheaper to me for some reason, but maybe that's just that I don't really like this style of bracelet. So
I have to shoot a product shot fairly soon, like in the next month, and I'm curious on your take on this. Having worked with Brian Rogers, producing the hero shot, I'm trying to remember what he even did, like if he used multiple lights, but in many cases he could use one light, light the whole thing multiple ways, and then composite his favorite frames all together to make one single polished image. Versus this shot, which might have some of that, but it sounds like it's got 3 lights live shot on, on location.
Yeah.
And then the way that you did your fake Rolex was also trying to get it all perfect. Maybe you even like rendered in Photoshop some highlights or something.
I don't even remember. I try to put that one out of my mind.
Do you feel like you would approach a photo of a product shot one way or the other? Would you try to get practical lights in there and get it to look as good straight out the camera? Or would you just go in knowing I'm going to take 20 frames lit with hard and soft lights and reflectors everywhere, and then just literally build it out with the perfect lighting?
I do not care. Like, in the past, I wanted to get it all right in camera, and I wanted to be an impressive photographer.
I'm not saying if you care. I'm saying like if you had to produce a shot.
What would I do?
What would you do now?
I think what I would do is I would try to get decent lighting on maybe the face of the watch, and then I would just go crazy with a camera on a tripod, and I would just pop, 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 and then I would probably put it together in Photoshop.
So you could get the perfect highlights on the band and everything. And
that's probably what I would do today. But I don't know. There's probably a middle ground, which is like truly the professional way of doing it these days, where you're not just spraying and praying and then putting it together in Photoshop. You're kind of going at it with a little bit more intelligence. But I feel like, especially with a product like this, you can't really be behind the camera and light it. You're probably going to be a little bit further away. So it's kind of hard to see. You could tether your camera to a screen and you could be trying to get the lighting just right, or you could just take 20 shots and eventually you'll get one right. I don't know. Maybe that's the lame way to do it. Let's move on.
Oh, I'm in control.
You're in
All
control.
Right. Photo number 2.
Photo number 2. And somebody in the chat has mentioned that we are like going in and out of high frame rate, and I've noticed a problem. Like right now, it looks good. I've noticed an issue with I think it's the ATEM here, where it'll all of a sudden it'll start being like super low frame rate. It feels like it's going to 12 frames per second, like that. There it goes.
There it goes.
So I can let us know in the chat. Did that get really bad for you guys too?
But on our system, it's not saying it's buffering or that there's any potential problem.
It does this, and now it's clean again. Yeah, it does this even when I'm not live. When I was building this set out, it was doing that. So I don't know.
Well, this stuff has been in storage for like 4 or 5 months. So
that's true. All right. Let's do it. Let me read real quick who took this photo. This photo was taken by Matthias Dingler. It's one of his first product photos ever taken. He's usually a totally different type of photographer, but he did it for his own portfolio to broaden his horizon. Rigged up the shoe on wires. Interesting. I would think that maybe you could just put a super clamp in the back or something like that, but he actually tried to shoot it in camera. Are you ready?
I think so.
3, 2, 1. 3 stars, we agree. In case you guys don't remember, it's been a while. 1 star is a snapshot. Anybody with a camera would just take a photo of. 2, needs work before it hits your portfolio. 3 is portfolio worthy. 4, excellent. 5, world class.
So this belongs in your portfolio.
I think so.
Not mind-blowing, but like doesn't necessarily need work before hitting your portfolio.
Yeah.
What stands out, good or bad, with this image to you?
It's once again, it's difficult for me to put it into words. I feel like there's some weird shadows like on the front of this sole that feel like flat or fake, like maybe burning was done or something to darken it. I don't exactly know.
Especially if you zoom in like right here.
Like the backlight that's coming, like I kind of like that. Yeah. I feel like maybe the shoe needs more of that or something. But
how do you feel about like the shoe? It seems like the most important part of this image is the sole of the shoe versus the top part of the shoe. Is that common? You probably look at shoes more than I do.
Maybe, I don't know.
I feel like you're a shoe guy. I don't really care.
I don't know if I'm a big shoe guy, but I don't know. There's something weird about this shoe. I don't know. I mean, it's like, Adidas has been doing weird stuff with their soles for a while now. This feels like a golf shoe or something to me, but it just doesn't seem quite as polished as other work that I've seen from shoe photographers. Brian Rogers Jr. has just a crazy portfolio. We did a tutorial with him called the Hero Shot that Patrick mentioned a second ago. It's on fstoppers.com/store. If you win this critique, you could get that tutorial if you wanted. But he's done some shoe shots that are just mind-blowing. And maybe something that would make this kind of feel a little more grounded to me is a shadow of the toe of that shoe touching the ground, and it can be totally fake. It can be done in post.
That's assuming you don't want it to be levitating. Like you would.
But it could be levitating, but it could just have like a little shadow down below to, again, go check out Brian Rogers' portfolio on fstoppers.com. He has crazy stuff. I mean, he's got pictures of like video game controllers on fire, and they just have the littlest shadow below them. They're not touching the ground, but they're floating in midair. He strings them up just like this.
I don't know if we can do this, but this is a whole new setup. Are we able to show like a browser? Could you go to Adidas website right now and just see what their shoes look like? Or could we not easily stream that? Or would I have to do it here?
Let me see. I could probably.
I just wonder,
do it
like,
here.
The thing that bothers me the most is just seeing the sole of this. Like, I keep thinking, like, the shoe is just tilted too much, and I know that's kind of the magic of suspending it and getting this angle. I feel like I want to see the tongue and the laces a little bit more, and it's tough because if you go to their website, I wonder if the shoe is shot in a really boring way so that you could just see what you're buying versus like a hero shot. And then are all their hero shots going to have models and an environment in them? But I just wonder, and maybe their website's not even the best example. Maybe be Googling Adidas or something. But
yeah,
how
some
many
of these
shots?
are pretty crazy.
How many shots actually show the bottom at all, or the majority of the bottom? I don't know. I think like it's, we can talk all day about what we think about photography, but it's kind of cool too to see what
is making money out there.
Yeah, because on Monday I'm going to release a little snippet of a video that I'm doing for Pro Photo that you can check out on the F-Stoppers channel about shooting catalog type images.
Yep.
And so I thought, let me go see what catalog images look like now for Gap or H&M. And I was shocked at how different the model choices are very different than I would have thought from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or what you might expect the models to look like. The lighting and a lot of the variety, like I'm usually used to seeing just all the images looking exactly the same so that they pop off and you say, I want that dress or I want that shirt. This was all over the place. And so I think it's good to go to the manufacturer's website and see like what is Adidas doing with their images if you're trying to get work from them and kind of hold your work up to their standard. The one thing that I feel like the lighting of their logo, maybe because it's lit from underneath.
Yeah.
Something about the text, I almost want it all filled in and just to pop off. It almost gets lost.
It does.
It's hard
it does
to
a little
see,
bit, yeah.
The leaves and the Adidas name and everything. I love how they've shown the texture on the back, though.
On that cloud sole. I got to tell you, man, have you ever tried on these Adidas shoes that are like, they feel like socks.
Really?
They are, yeah. They're not really good for doing sports in. I guess you could jog in them, but.
Are they supportive or they're just supposed to feel comfortable?
I think they're running shoes, so they're made to go straight. But you wouldn't want to play tennis on them. You'd roll your ankle in 2
I was just talking to Jamie in JLD, and they're buying these shoes with some kind of weird, like, flat sole that's supposed to be, it's like the knees over toes guy is all about them. And it just seems like, but is this?
The flat sole has been a thing in, like the cross-training industry and like weightlifting and stuff. People are like, you got to wear the Chuck Taylors, like the shittiest shoes ever.
Those kill my feet.
I know. They're horrible shoes, but people like them for weightlifting.
What does the audience think about this? Are we getting any responses here?
They're just talking about how our frame rate keeps dropping and acting weird. It looks good at the moment.
Did I just see a weird little pixel pop or something pop up?
I don't know. Next up.
So we have a montage. Is this like a behind the scenes? Are we supposed to see this one first, or?
No. So I think the finished image is the upper right shot. Okay. I think. Let's see. Can you guess who took this? I bet you can.
I have an idea.
So this was taken by Felix Hernandez. He says this project was a little different, commissioned by Gucci. Wow. So he literally did this for Gucci. For their global launch for their first collectible piece, a limited edition Hot Wheels Gucci Cadillac Seville. The commission included creating the concept design and build of a piece that displayed in a creative way the miniature car, for then creating a series of images and videos as part of their campaign. Very, very interesting.
Look at that briefcase.
Yeah, so he was hired to build the briefcase, it sounds like. That's
Can I just
crazy.
say, like, I don't know where he was commercially years ago when we first became aware of his work, and maybe he made the critique. And the fact that he's still submitting to the critique is kind of crazy. But take where he was 5 years ago, 8 years ago, whenever we first became aware of his work, and then now getting hired by Gucci.
Yeah.
Stuff like this, which is at the top of the game. I don't know any photographers who are designing the stuff that they're photographing for.
Felix has no competition because he's literally building the sets that he's photographing. Like, what other photographer's doing that? They might hire a team of people to build some set, but he's literally doing this stuff himself. So he's become this kind of one-of-a-kind photographer, which has been super cool to see. Because I think he was just doing this stuff for his own personal enjoyment for a while.
That's how most of this stuff starts, and then you pick up steam and you refine it, and then you become known for something, and then you start getting hired for that thing that you're known for.
Yeah.
What are we critiquing? The top image?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm critiquing here.
There's like 3 or 4 images that are final images, but then there's obviously the 2 behind the scenes. Or is there a chance that that's a final image? Like, they want you to know that car there, put it on the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If that is that the final image? Like, they want you to know that this is a little micro machine sort of thing?
I have no idea. And he said this was also for some video ad as well. I'd be interested to see what that ad looks like. But I have no idea how to rate this, but let's do it.
All right.
3, 2, 1. I mean, in between like a 4 to 5. Like, I don't even know what to say about this stuff.
It's tough when, like, you know the backstory first, because I'm more inclined to say that this is now a 5-star because Gucci hired him.
Right.
And this looks unlike anything I've seen before, and it also looks kind of different from his normal work.
But
his other stuff's very like whimsical and like has a weird story and aliens and light beams and crazy like hippie trucks that are like, it doesn't make any sense. Not that this just looks a little more normal. This looks like a normal cool car that's in an old kind of Caribbean city or something.
Usually I'm very quick to give Felix 5 stars on everything he submits. His work blows my mind. The reason why I was like in between a 4 and a 5 on this one, I just feel like without the story and without the client and everything, if I went to somebody's website and saw this, I wouldn't really know.
Yeah.
It doesn't blow my mind like a lot of his other work does. Of course, when I hear this story, like, oh, this is a one-of-a-kind collector's car. Gucci was hired him to not just design, this idea, but to design the actual briefcase itself. Like, that's insane. So the story's 5 stars. The images, I don't know, maybe they're 5 stars too. It's just like that upper left image up there, like that. Like, I don't think I would be able to ever tell that was a miniature. That looks like a straight up real scene to me. So it just shows you how good he is.
And then do you like love that scene if it was?
No.
Yeah, it just kind of looks like we've seen some we've done some very notorious car critiques that people love.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we're known for.
Yeah.
As our car photography critiques.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that image probably wouldn't really stand out. But with it being a miniature car and with all the backstory, like.
Next up. This is the highest rated image on this critique. Let me see who took this one.
Have you ever been to the Guinness brewery?
Is it in Ireland?
Yeah, it's
okay. I've never been to Ireland. This was taken by Carlos Teixeira. He said this is pretty much the only beer he drinks, and after doing a deep dive about the Guinness mythology, I found an interesting challenge exploring these markers. When you pour, you point it to the harp logo. The widget can is the only other way other than the tap to get the cascading effect that nitro beers are known for. And I really like the gesture of the beer swirling around when pouring, and all that informed the perspective, the position of the camera against the glass, and the lighting. Interesting. I mean, when
it does make it look delicious.
Yeah. I kind of didn't really notice all of those details until reading his description here, but I think that just kind of goes to show you how much more you can appreciate something with the story, just like the last shot with Felix.
Well, I mean, I asked you if you'd been to the distillery because when they pour the Guinness, it gives you all of that crazy cloudy movement and everything. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then you instantly see it in this photo. And I don't know that you see that in a lot of, what did he call this type of beer?
A nitro beer?
Nitro beer.
Yeah.
Don't exactly, like I'm not a huge beer connoisseur, so I don't exactly know what that means, but you know, a lot of beers, they're so amber in color and they don't give you that kind of effect. This is almost like a coffee.
Yeah.
It's like when you
with
pour
milk in it.
Pour creamer in there and you get that burst.
Are you ready to rate this?
I think so.
3, 2, 1.
I'm on the like lower side of a 4.
Me too. I think this is just a optical illusion type thing, but the direction of the can that's pouring the drink feels wrong to me. And I don't think it is. But do you understand what I'm saying?
It's like the camera is keystone and pointed up at the Guinness bottle, but then in order to get the can correctly positioned above it and not show the lip of the can pouring down, they have tilted the can.
It feels...
And so it feels like you're looking up one direction, but then the can must be tilted another way to give it this symmetrical look, and it's throwing you off, or it's like not sitting well with you?
Maybe. I also think maybe I want to see the can's mouth facing towards me so that I can see the opening of the can and I can see it coming out. Like the way it's so dark like this, sorry, you guys can't see what I'm talking about. The way the can is so dark and then not being able to see the opening of the can itself, it just kind of feels a little weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I almost think, like, could you have lit, what were you calling it, the mouth of the can, and then the beer itself, and given every element in this photo a place?
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like there's this weird dark thing sneaking into the top of the frame.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Oh, and by the way, go back real quick. This is the highest rated image. Send me a private message on fstoppers.com. Let me know which tutorial from fstoppers.com/store you would like. Next up.
What does that sound?
I think my baby's outside having fun.
Thought maybe it was a baby bird.
Hopefully not. This image was taken by Sanket Kuntale. He says, a shot for Origin, a healthy granola and energy bar from India. This picture conveys the granola breakfast in a bowl with the ingredients used in it. I think this is super clever. And what do you think of the lighting?
I love it. I
I
like this hard light. It's top down or kind of at an angle. It's my eye keeps going to the shadow on the box.
Yes.
The fall off and like there's some kind of weird fill going off camera to the left. But that, and maybe I don't know. Do you like the highlight difference, the tonality in the bottom right? It's also getting some kind of fall off. It's like a vignette added to it, which I don't know if I dislike it or not. I mean, we haven't rated this image yet, but this might be one of my favorite images of the critique so far. Somebody was asking, like, that last image was the highest rated?
The Guinness one was. So I feel like maybe we should just go ahead and rate this and then we can talk about it. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Going 4. We agree. I feel like
very agreeable today.
Yes. I love the lighting on the granola, and I love the shadow that's being cast by all the fruit and the granola and the spoon. I feel like it looks fantastic. The lighting on the box, it just feels a little long to me or something, and I don't have a suggestion of what I would do better. And that's, I hate like critiquing something and being like, I don't really like it, but I also don't know what to do. I hate saying that. But do you agree with me? It's like the lighting on the granola feels super pro, but then that long shadow off the box just kind of feels like, I don't know if mistake is the right word, but it just feels like this image was lit for the granola, just like it should be. But then
I think the issue is, and
me.
You can kind of tell from this shadow line right here, the one that's in the middle, is that the box is so much taller than everything else in the scene that it's naturally now causing, the shadow to be longer. So you either have to light it separately and composite it in, or do something crazy where like you cut a hole in the tabletop and sink the box lower, something.
Well, yeah, I mean,
or cut the box.
Yeah, I think it'd be easier to cut the box than to sink a hole.
Cut the box and just make the box thinner.
Yeah, but I also wonder if you could somehow, like, move the box more to the corner of the frame so that there's less shadow and more box. Like maybe you make the granola bowl
Not
smaller.
with the crop though, just you're saying physically move it.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like zoom in with the camera to where the box is bigger, and then maybe you have to make your granola bowl a little smaller. Because like one thing that's a little awkward to me is I feel like the bowl is gigantic in comparison to the spoon and in comparison to the box. It's not, like nobody would eat a bowl of cereal that's like 3 times larger than the box of cereal. You know what I mean?
I mean, you haven't seen me eat granola.
That's true.
I will blaze through some granola.
Maybe I'm being a little picky
I think it's
right
more
now.
weird that there's an orange in there. Like, who puts orange in their granola?
That's true.
But I really love this. I think it's really different.
I do too. I
and
think it's
like
great. I think it sounds like I'm being harsh.
Stands
but
out.
yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for that one blueberry that's kind of up there in the shade. But, you know, you could make a whole series of this, and it just shows that you're thinking outside the box. It's very graphic. It shows the cereal in a really good way. This makes me want to eat that cereal. Like, this looks good to me.
Yeah.
So those are all
Yeah, it feels healthy.
tasty, too.
And,
I threw health out the window. But, all right.
Next up. Let's see.
How did Tom Ford become this, like, I don't want to say like meme, but it's like a meme brand.
So
they have like Tom Ford books that you buy, and it's an expensive coffee table book that like you have to put, like every Instagrammer has to put in that book.
And what is it, a picture book? What's in there?
I don't even know what's in it. Like you just want the white book with the black text that says Tom Ford. And I feel like it's become, in the last like 5 years, it's become this product placement thing that's in so much interior design and Instagram influencer type photography.
Well,
I mean, obviously they need their products photographed, but every time I see Tom Ford
what is
now,
Tom Ford? Is it like a Tommy Hilfiger type thing?
it's just it's a name brand.
But they make clothing?
I think they make everything.
I mean, they don't make vehicles.
They don't make
They don't make guitars.
That's right.
So
they
it's like
don't.
Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah, but they might make cologne and they make clothing and
Just those two things. And coffee table books.
I mean,
Somehow this image snuck past me. When you guys submit to a critique, make sure you write something in the description. We want to hear a little story about the image.
You put
this
one
was
in
taken by Narek, and he wrote in the description, fragrance. I want to know like why you took this. Were you hired? Is it for your own portfolio? How did you light it? I dig this shot.
but it's ineligible now.
Yeah, you can't win.
You can't win.
You didn't give a good critique. Are you ready to rate this?
My hair is like really crazy now.
A little bit, yeah. Mine is too.
I should have just left that thing on. In some weird way, that looked better.
3,
Right.
2, 1.
3?
Have we been in agreement on every single?
So far, we have. I don't know what's gotten into us.
I'm in between a 3 and a 4 on this. I feel like it could be a 4. I like the background. I feel like it's simple, but they've added, that gobo cookie light in the background. It feels like, maybe there's a palm leaf or something. And
I do love the background. I want some more I want the floor, the base of this image to be lifted a little bit.
What do you mean, lift?
Like if I just look at it from far away, I imagine like seeing this image in the airport. You're going through the duty-free section and they have to grab your attention quickly. And usually they're going to put like a hot guy or hot girl in the frame to do that, or a celebrity.
Okay.
But I just want to see like it not floating on black. When I look at it small from far away, it's just there's so much density in all the black tones that maybe I want the slightest little reflective something just to. Maybe you could mirror the background and then just fade it in a little bit. Maybe you could just make it a little white gray, kind of like the tonality in the bottom right of, down here, like something that just lifts it up a little bit. That's just a personal preference for me. And then there's something also about the logo and text on the gold, kind of like the Adidas shot. It's not quite legible. Like when I look up there, I know it's small on our monitor, but it's not, I can't even begin to tell what it is.
I don't know how much of that is the photographer's fault, though. That seems like the bottle designers.
I mean, I agree, but you don't think maybe they have made every bit of the text kind of filled in with a highlight, but there's something about that I just wish you could read it a little easier.
Does it bother you that this image has very little depth to it? It feels like this whole set is like 2 inches thick. Do you like that?
I keep thinking we just bought houses in Puerto Rico, and you and I both just built kitchens, and we've looked at lots of kitchens. This looks like an IKEA cabinet cover. And it's like a very specific one that I feel like I've looked at quite a bit. Maybe not in this green color, but I just keep seeing an IKEA cabinet with the fragrance in front of it.
I keep thinking, would I like it if the IKEA cabinet was more at an angle so that it kind of went back in the distance, and then you had a little shallower depth of field but behind the bottle? Or maybe I actually do like it that it's just so flat and simple. I keep going back and forth in my mind.
Yeah, I don't think I have a problem with the background. I know I just said it looks like an IKEA cabinet, but...
I mean, yeah, but it's a really nice IKEA cabinet.
Yeah, like it looks good. I don't mean to say like you picked the wrong background, or because I know what it is, it diminishes the background. I like it. I wish it was sitting on something that had a little bit more clarity, contrast. It's just starting to fade to where like the whole bottom of the frame's a little dark for me.
Moving on. Dun, dun, dun.
The Faution man says, I do not like the new setup.
Why is that?
I like the old one where you both sat on couches and our toes touched.
Yeah.
They can't tell what we're doing under the table. Like we might not even be wearing pants.
That's true.
I might be in a swimsuit.
For that reason, I think I like this set even better. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt.
Get
the
tired
last
of
set,
seeing our toes?
Yeah, we got yelled at, and our legs.
Well,
I had to wear pants in every video.
They like seeing my shorts.
Your shorts?
Yeah.
Yeah, our last set was way better than this one, but we no longer live in a mansion. We live in 2 pretty crappy houses now, so we have to deal with what we've got. Are you ready to rate this?
Yes. This is
3, 2, 1.
I want to give this a 2.
We disagree. I'm going 2 on this one.
I
don't feel like this is ready.
The only reason I gave this a 3 is because I feel like I see this type of image all the time on Amazon. And maybe there's a market to where you could get hired to take those pictures and make money with it. But I do not think the pictures on Amazon necessarily are like solid images. So I'm torn with thinking like there's work to be made doing this. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's like your portfolio is going in the right direction.
So it's funny that you bring this up because today, our power's flickering on and off for like the last 48 hours. I'm literally listening to like electronic burning sounds in my walls, like in different switches and stuff. Like it's crazy.
Okay.
So I started doing research on whole house
surge protectors.
And I go on Amazon, and I'm curious as to how they work, right? I kind of want to see the technology behind it.
2 huge surges in my house in Charleston. Lost a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
I still don't know how they work. It just seems like you want to send everything to ground. But is that fast enough to like?
Yeah, how is it fast enough? And then how does it only work once? You would think that it could. Anyway, so I noticed that this Amazon listing, has the photos, kind of like the one we just saw there, but then it also has a video. And I'm like, oh, cool. It's going to be like an ad about the product. It'll tell me how it works and everything. So I click on this video, and it starts playing Christmas music, like dun, 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 dun. And then it's like a picture of a Christmas tree with snow, and then it's like up close pictures of Christmas ornaments, and then it's kids like running to the tree and opening boxes and everything, and then it's like a whole family sitting on the couch drinking coffee, and then
they all get electrocuted.
No, and then it just shows a stock image of the product.
Okay.
And that's the whole video. Like, it was literally just
stock footage of Christmas stuff.
Right. They were like, we just got to get some video.
Give the gift that nobody wants.
Yes. So when you're saying that this image here is good enough for Amazon,
well,
I'm just saying that there's some pretty bad stuff on Amazon that I'm not sure people are actually paying for.
Yes. I mean, realistically, this is a 2. but
I feel like the lighting on the boombox itself isn't that bad, but that splash isn't cutting it for me.
this splash looks like a cheap horror movie type thing where they were like, we have no budget for anything. Let's just. Weren't you like you could pick out like splashes from India or something?
So I was gonna bring that up. That like a year ago we did some critique with a beer bottle, and I was like, this Photoshop looks like Photoshop from India because I don't even know how to make water look like this. I don't know, like it's like a cartoon of water, but where do you even find? Because if I needed to get a splash shot and I was incapable of shooting it myself, I would go on Google Images and I'd type in like splash water on black, and then I would just pull it off the internet.
No, you would go to a stock site and you would license the splash shot.
Yeah, of course I wouldn't steal it.
Yeah.
But it's like exclusively from India. When they need splashes, they have somebody doing like airbrushed cartoon splashes. So
there's a splash guy.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that. This was taken by Abel Getachew. So that doesn't sound like an Indian photographer to me, but the splash definitely looks like Indian splash photography.
So obviously, like JBL is a huge name, so their photography should be world class. You zoom into this, and there's like weird things where like there's this haze on the buttons. It's like ghosting, or like it's just
that is weird. I didn't even
weird
notice
effect.
That.
And then I see what they did to bring out the texture in the speaker, but it's almost so texturized that it looks like uncomfortable to hold or. I think what I would do, or what I would imagine the company would do, is to put a lot of shade on it and hide a lot of the texture to give it this like elusive, sexy, masculine feel. But then there'd be a highlight that cuts across it to show some of the texture, so that it doesn't have this like cheese grater, corn on the cob, sort of like texture to it, right?
Yeah.
And then like. The water splash is weird. It's coming from like a weird direction.
The shadow's really weird too. The way it's like out of the frame, it feels very uncomfortable to me.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if like the color seems like kind of an unusual color to use. I don't know that I have a preference on the color, but it just feels like it's just a weird saturated color. Maybe they're playing off the logo. The JBL kind of has this like plum kind of color on it there. Does JBL always have an exclamation point in their logo?
I think that might be a new logo.
Huh, I haven't noticed that before, but.
Next up. This was an interesting shot. Let me see if I can find it. Oh man, say this person's name, Patrick.
Lucas Malatowski.
That's not it at all. I think Lucas might be right, but Malatowski.
If you just say it confidently enough,
that's true.
They know.
Only one person knows you're wrong.
Yeah, it's you.
And
well, it's him.
No, him. Yeah.
But you know
he probably won't watch this.
You know I'm wrong.
Product. He said this is a product photo taken for a Czech brand. Took during our orchestra campaign. Don't know what that means. The photo is focus stacked since I photographed this during a video shoot and I had to use continuous lights with the film crew.
Lego Man says that boot is from Paul Bunyan. It does seem like there's something with the depth of field that's like it's throwing me off. It's like there's too shallow of a depth of field. And where's the focus on the back? It's like on. The focus is right here on her hands, maybe, or on that tool.
But what, like the second focal point?
The main focus point, like the sharpest part of this image, I think, like this is out of focus, right?
The boot?
No, I'm saying the background plate.
Yeah, it goes like the foreground is out of focus, the boot is in focus, right after the boot goes out of focus again, and then it comes back into focus for her.
Right. So it's like this shot needs to be shot at f8 or something, or focus stacked, and the whole thing needs to be sharp, or the boot needs to be out of focus, which you're not going to do that.
I mean, I think the boot's the hero here.
I'm just saying, like, something with the depth of field makes this instantly feel kind of fake, or feels like.
See, I don't think I noticed the weird in and out of depth of field here. I kind of felt like, oh, it's just a deep depth of field shot. I think my biggest critique here, I feel like I like the scene, I like the lighting on the boot. I feel like the girl feels very uncomfortable and posy.
Robotic.
Yes, and so for me, I think I would prefer the boot be in focus and her be out of focus. And maybe I would even lower the camera a little bit to bring that boot up higher in the frame and kind of make the shot more about the boot than it is her. Because my eye goes right to her. I kind of overlook the boot at first. I look at her first. She feels very uncomfortable. Like, are they done taking photos yet? Like, I feel like that's what's going through her mind. But I really like the scene. Like, I like the lighting. I like the location. I like the idea. It's just she's kind of weirding me out a little bit.
Daniel has an interesting comment. He says he's not sure about the empty racks. And again, if this was like a shot that you took quickly with video and you're trying to salvage and create something, I totally get it. But I mean, it could be kind of cool to have like the whole racks full of product.
Yeah.
And then it's like, here's the boot and here's how it's made. But instead, it kind of feels like, is this scene, does this have anything to even do with the boot? And you just kind of threw a boot into some other textile photo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's no other like context, but.
Maybe you're right.
The depth of field thing is kind of, and it's also like, does she have a slight grungy clarity effect, but the boot doesn't? Is there some kind of like color, contrast, tweaking, processing that's different that makes the boot feel like it's not in the same
photo
environment? Yeah, like something feels strange about that too.
I do get like a little bit of the green in the skin tone feeling. In her, that maybe is in the boot, but you just don't get that tone in the boot. But maybe.
Also, they're saying the front of the boot seems kind of out of focus, but then the rest of the boot is. The depth of field, definitely. I think that's
pretty crazy. People can pick that up on YouTube. Like, I'm looking at it right here. I'm having trouble seeing that. But yeah, maybe I see what you're saying. Right along the top of the foot of the boot. All right, we need to rate this, don't we?
Yeah.
Let me. 3, 2, 1. 3 stars. I'm in between a 3 and a 4 on this. Like, I probably sounded really harsh. I feel like it's good. I just don't like her expression. Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm just also thinking, like, if this was an advertisement and you start throwing text on here and you put the brand name and you put a catchy slogan and stuff, like, there's enough space around everything to where maybe I would even be less critical than I just was. But when I see, like somebody was saying, the tip of the boot, there's some weird, like, it's out of focus right above the boot where it should, it's almost like a masking issue.
Right.
Subconsciously, I'm picking that up, but then also as a photographer looking at it, I'm picking it up, and I just feel like that could all be a little tighter.
Iceman.
I just set up my home stereo the other day, and as a kid, my dad always tested his home stereos with the opening scene of Top Gun, and so like I started finding myself watching that whole movie. And it was weird to watch a movie like Top Gun that I think is like this amazing movie and then realize like it's all just like B-roll of fighter jets and then just shots from the cockpit. Like it starts to feel like, man, anyone could have produced this movie. Like,
oh, really?
It doesn't feel like a modern Jerry Bruckheimer movie that's like insane, Maybe Jerry's now old and not making movies, but I don't know. I hear Iceman, I just think of Val Kilmer's character.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You've never seen Top Gun?
I don't think I've seen it all the way through.
Is the second one out yet? There's all these movies I feel like I heard about during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Now that that's over with. And I'm like, did It 2, Stephen King's It 2, did that come out?
Yeah, I think that came out. I saw that a long time ago. I think so.
When they're old? Like they're older?
Yeah, I saw that.
I never saw that. Top Gun, that was like supposed to come out?
Yeah, I just saw something on YouTube like 2 days ago about the making of Top Gun. Like it looked like they're really flying the jets. Did Tom Cruise do that in the first movie?
You would think yes, because that's what he does, but I don't know. Like I was just watching it thinking like this just looks like they had some guys film in the air, a bunch of F-14s. But they're on the aircraft carrier and stuff, but a lot of it just felt like this is just pieced together, it doesn't feel that realistic.
All right. This image was taken by Jared Carpenter. Lit using a large softbox in front, 2 strip boxes on the side, and a light with a grid on the blue background. Bottle was frosted and the dew added for the chilled effect.
All right.
I dig it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Between a 3 and a 4.
I am too. I don't know what to do. Let's be nice. I'll give him a 4. I feel like it looks really good. I'm trying to decide if the blue light in the background kind of cheapens it for me. I mean, it's already a little bit of a goofy label, you know? It's kind of like a cartoon label. I get it. You're matching the light, the color of the bottle or of the label, but do you like that? Would it have been better to have a little bit of contrast on that background?
I keep thinking, do you play off the red apple, but then maybe that doesn't make it feel like ice? Or do you make the blue bigger and spread the beam of light a little bit more?
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just that it's like, maybe I want the blue to go up the neck of the bottle or something. It feels like such a small little...
That's interesting. Instead of lighting the side highlights blue, white, what if they were blue? Do they not pop off as much? Or you could put like a layer mask on top and then set it to the color and then literally, I think, color in the white and it would make it blue without having to light it.
I don't know that I like... I mean, at that point, it would just look like a blue bottle, wouldn't it?
I mean, I keep looking at this and thinking, like, this is a very strange direction for Angry Orchard. Like, it's apple cider served in this, like, champagne-type bottle. And it's blue, Iceman, but it's apple cider. And I think every time I think apple cider, I think green. And I think, like, amber colors, you know? Mm-hmm. And then this has this, like, very masculine, dark liqueur. It's just something with the branding of this is like actually making me think more about that than the photography. I think the photography actually is pretty solid. Yeah. I see what you're saying with the blue highlight in the background. I don't know if I have a strong preference for that, but I just keep thinking like, who is going and picking up this bottle? Like when I think of Angry Orchard, I think of like the crazy tree and it's like fantasy. I mean, this is fantasy too, but this is starting to go into like trolls or like, what are the Icelandic guys? The like Vikings and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know. It just feels very like kind of off-brand for them, but
I don't even know what Angry Orchard is.
It's just I mean, they make cider. Okay. You go to every grocery store, I feel like that's the cider brand.
What's the other one? Mike's Hard Lemonade. Yeah, they make one, don't they? Don't they do a hard cider too?
Maybe, but they're more like Mike's the lemonade. Yeah. Like, what are you going to say next? Like Smirnoff?
You know, I don't know. I just, like, I remember when everybody started drinking, like in my early 20s, and I thought beer tasted horrible. I'd be like, give me a Mike's Hard Lemonade or Mike's Hard cider. Yeah.
I don't know. This seemed like a strange bottle to me, but...
Let's move on.
I like the photography though.
Yeah, it is nice. This image taken by Mark Stout. Took this as a portfolio builder, shot everything separately and combined in Photoshop, had a square fish tank, used it to drop everything in using 3 lights, created the gradient in Photoshop and used a bubble brush in addition to others that I shot.
Man, they are debating the Top Gun. Like some are saying it's coming out in December, and others are saying June. But then they're debating that like, is Tom Cruise 100% flying the jets or not? And they're saying some of them they're in the back seat, and then others are saying Tom Cruise is flying these jets, which seems insane. Like, is our government going to let them? Like, I don't know if these are U.S. aircraft or if you could buy these from. I don't know if it's like Lockheed Martin or somebody's making these jets, but like. I mean, how much is a fighter jet? Is it like $1 billion or something crazy?
I can't imagine it's that much.
Hundreds of millions? I mean...
I don't even want to say a number because I'm sure.
And you're going to give that to Tom Cruise and then have video crew or like have other actors and like that just seems So insane, but that seems so Tom Cruise, right?
Well, there's a video on YouTube right now that talks about this and about him getting his license and how many hours he had to get, and then them, all the other actors. I don't know if all the other actors also learned to fly, but they're definitely in the planes, like blacking out and stuff. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Did you see that video on Reddit the other day where show a girl going through like a 7G, and she's like, they're telling her, they're like, breathe out, squint your butt, like all these commands, and she's doing it, and it's like she looks like she's 100 years old, and it finally releases, and she's like this like
super hot girl
in her 20s or something.
Yeah,
but they were like,
I've
most humans can only withstand that for 10 seconds with the best training, and maybe she did like 12 seconds. It's pretty crazy. But I assume flying these jets, you're going to do those maneuvers, right? You're going to experience all that, and like you're going to give Tom Cruise control. Like, that just seems, maybe that makes me more excited about the movie.
Yeah, it makes me more
I
excited.
kind of am not excited when they take an old movie like that and then they try to make it Maverick. Like, that's not going to be, it's going to be lame, right?
Yeah.
It's like Dumb and Dumber 2 or 3 or whatever they're at.
I actually just met a guy a couple days ago in my jiu-jitsu gym who, he just has a normal office job now. But he told me, he was like, yeah, I used to be a fighter pilot in the military, and I specialized in Harriers. And I was like, you used to fly Harriers.
That's the jet that can take off?
Yes.
Okay.
And now you work at a computer. How, like, do you dream about going back to the, and he was like, yeah, I think about it all the time. And I was like, do you know the right people that you could get back in a plane and like at least fly along with somebody? And he was like, nope, can't get back in them. Like, how hard would that be?
And not only, there's probably like is there an age limit or a health issue, or like there's some thing that like you're ineligible? Is that what it is? Or
I don't know.
I would assume that like it's a very narrow window to be a fighter pilot.
Oh, absolutely. But
I think in some ways, is Tom, like, how is Tom Cruise, like, but you have to have perfect vision.
But that's like fighting in the military. You have to have all the perfect credentials. If you just want to fly along in a plane, you can do that.
Yeah, but it's a little more than just flying along.
I think in Jacksonville, Florida, you can pay like $5,000 or $6,000, and they will take you in a fighter jet.
Really?
For like 30 minutes or something.
30 minutes?
Something like that.
That's actually tempting. I mean, $5,000 is a lot, but like, that's a dream. Like, I feel like you.
I was telling the guy, I was like, the last thing on my bucket list. I've done everything else I wanted to do. The last thing on my bucket list is fighter jet. And he was like, good luck with that. I don't know how you're getting in. I'm like, I'm getting in one. It's gonna happen one day.
$5,000. That's doable.
It is. Yeah, I wanna like
do it for free.
Yeah, I wanna do it for free with like the the angels. All right, are we ready to rate this image? Let's do it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. 2 stars. We agree.
Why is this 2 stars?
Many reasons. One, it's not convincing to me at all that the bottle is in water. It looks like you took a picture of this bottle and then you put it in Photoshop, and the only part that kind of feels like it's a little real is that water part right there.
Yeah.
Every other part of this just feels like you photoshopped it in.
Stock splash.
And then the little bubbles and stuff, it's just not, it's not convincing to me. And then the lighting on the limes or whatever, they feel overexposed to me. The color of the limes doesn't even feel right. It feels like I couldn't even tell that was a lime. I like the blue color in the background. I like aspects of, the top of the water, but I feel like if you're gonna drop this in the water, you need to have like bubbles coming off of the bottom of the bottle.
I think all of that's true. I think the thing that bothers me the most is just like, I've attempted this shot. Like the first year I got into photography, like this was like, gotta get that shot of the water splashing and it just feels like this shot has been done so many times for a company like this that it doesn't feel fresh and exciting. So if you were to do this, it better be the best version of this you've ever seen, or just like go in a different direction. It's kind of like shooting the Grand Canyon, like shooting a landscape shot that you've seen 1,000 times. It's like, why spend time doing this?
Well, I feel like this is great practice. Like
great practice, but like Do you put this in your portfolio? Do you
Not as it is, but if he did it up to the level of other bottle splash shots, absolutely it should go in your portfolio. I just feel like this is a great first attempt. I mean, this is certainly better than what I was shooting my first time trying to do splash photography. And the truth is, I mean, have we even done something like this before? Have we done an f-stoppers? I mean, we've filmed other people doing it, but have we tried it?
Done a splash shot?
Like this, yeah.
Oh.
You've done something with splashes. What did you do? You did something with like ink or something?
Oh, yeah, released on our channel. I did some where I'm dropping ink and trying to get like those ink plumes. But I mean, I remember distinctively in the apartment I had in Charleston doing a shot like this. And it wasn't like floating in an aquarium. It was like maybe a glass or something, but.
And did it turn out well? I mean, the fact that I don't recall seeing it.
It just was cheap. I mean, it was like a cheap glass. It was, I don't know, like this just seems like the easiest thing ever, you know?
This seems easy to you.
Well, knowing what I know now, yeah, you shoot everything separately. You shoot for the, the horizon line.
But that's what he did, and it doesn't look real. That's why I think this is harder than you think.
You think that the real shots, can you go to, I don't know if Perrier is the right company to look up, but I just think the shot is so overdone and boring that like there's not a reason to attempt it. Now, if you put a different brand in there and then you have a little boat that's floating on the top of the water and they're fishing and this is like a whale and you come up with like some theme where it's like, wow, a graphic design or advertising agency came up with this concept, then I would be like, that's cool. But just the bottle floating on white with the white highlight behind it and the limes dropping below it, it just feels boring to me. It feels like, but see, this, what you're about to show, if you pull up that same image, I don't know, it's very different.
A pain in the ass. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this looks incredible.
So you need to find another shot of like, can you do like bottle, maybe if you type in bottle floating in water, you're going to find a bunch of just amateur work of people that, like, I don't know how you find the official brand photo that came out of the agency, but like click on this the green one in the middle of your frame.
Here?
Go over one more. That. Maybe that isn't good, but that looks like
pretty cool.
It's like a different vibe. Like that is a different spin on it than this.
It feels like graphic art. It doesn't feel like photography.
And I'm just pointing out something that just popped up. Like, I don't know, there's a girl in a red dress that looks interesting. There's all kinds of stuff on here that you could scroll through and you say, like, oh, that's cool. But like the direction that this image is going just feels like what every photographer tries to do, because this is what's on Shutterstock. If you go to Shutterstock and look up bottle floating in water, you're going to see 1,000 of these images.
Yeah.
But I don't know that, like, it's not just is the photography good. This critique is also, does it belong in your portfolio? And I think that image right there is way more interesting. And maybe, I mean, it's probably harder to create, but I don't know. I'm just not really digging the bottle.
I agree. I
mean,
this one here, I've seen this a few times now. Like, that's so cool. It's just, the concept is so cool.
But maybe, I don't know if we're ready to move on, but maybe there's just an example of this type of thing that's done even better, that you'd be like, here's a better example of this shot.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to find it on the spot live, but let's see, Perrier floating. Yeah, I don't think it's going to
so overdone that even they don't use this image.
I think this is the last image of the critique anyway. Is it? Is there more?
I don't know. There's another image, but is that Nolan?
Probably.
So that's not.
That's not it.
That's the end?
Well, somehow we finished this without the internet or the power going out.
Look, we're back into robotic mode.
Yeah, and now it's moving in. I don't know.
We got to figure out what that is.
I do have to figure out what that is. There's a setting on the camera where I can choose the output, HDMI output frame rate, and I have it set to auto. And so I'm wondering if that is.
That's quite the crazy setup in here. You've been doing a lot of videos on how you built this set.
Yeah, I have. I still feel like I have more to go. I don't know. Like there's this little echo in here that I don't even know if you can hear.
I think it's fine. I mean, they're the ultimate judge.
Well, we're wearing labs.
Oh, because you're using
I wanted it to be this, and I was hoping that this shooting in between us would be enough, but no. I did tests the other day, and it's not good enough. But it's not the end of the world wearing the
This
mics.
is crazy because it feels like there's light behind the curtain.
Yeah.
I keep looking, thinking it's daylight outside, but it's probably already night now. It's 6:30 here.
Yeah. So we've got fake daylight.
Well, we also are building a studio in my garage that's like more of a shooting studio, and we filmed our first video there.
If you want to build out the live set with the sofa so that people can look at your legs and
The
feet.
problem is I have a 2-car garage, and I'm already looking at it thinking like, man, I don't even know how we could do it, but it wouldn't have a blurry background, and it wouldn't have the depth, and I don't know that I don't know. Trust me, I would rather like you come to my house and film live than me have to drive over here. But
and then I could just like show up an hour late for you and be like, oh, sorry, bro, I was at a party, can't make it.
I'll be okay. We go live when Lee gets here. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, we decided to do this today. I was like, maybe you mentioned it last night. But
And who set the time?
I did because we were at this party at like 2,
you.
and I was like, we'll be gone, but we're not gonna be here for 3 hours. And the next thing I know, I'm trying to get Kristen to leave, and so.
When are you releasing your latest F-Stoppers video?
Well, the one we just filmed is going on Profoto's website. It's their video. It's like a streamed video that's going out, I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday.
Okay.
But tomorrow or Monday, probably Monday, I'm going to release, they are allowing me to release a portion of it to promote their episode. So Monday on the main channel should be one. It's very simple. It's just lighting catalog work, like how to take one strobe, or later if you watch theirs, it's using 2 strobes, like just how to do basic lighting on a seamless background and get good results.
And we filmed a couple of other videos. You had this model come over to your place, and we filmed a couple of other videos that are very short, and I'm excited to see the results. So one of them was, how important is fill light if you can just raise shadows in post, especially with a camera like the Nikon D850 that has incredible dynamic range that's baked into the raw file anyway. What's the difference between adding fill with a light versus just moving the shadow slider?
I think I had this idea for a concept kind of talking with Mike Kelly, because so many people are like, why does he light paint and composite it all when like you can just do HDR or like just bring up the shadows and you can get all the clarity out of a single frame that you need. And we're all like, that's insane because you're actually adding light by using a flash. So this was kind of the same idea.
It's like a directional light, and so you're not bringing up all the shadows, you're just bringing up aspects of shadows, you're casting new shadows.
Highlights, shadows, but even color, like there's definitely something there, even with flat light that you get. If you just light it flat, you're getting something that's not necessarily there. But then with a lot of portraits, especially when you can't see the effects of fill light, you'll see these photographers that are using these double filtered, huge, scrims, and it's adding the tiniest little bit of fill. But, if you read about these famous photographers online, it's such a huge part of their work. And I've always thought, like, is that just for show, or is it actually doing something? And I don't think our test is necessarily going to replicate that. But it does bring an interesting thing. Can you just pull the shadows up on a raw file and get the same effect as adding a huge fill light?
Have you done this test?
I haven't looked. I mean, we looked at it on the back of the camera,
Yeah.
and I think I know the answer.
Okay.
But I haven't opened those files yet.
Okay.
So yeah, we have some pretty interesting. The other one was like, does the fill position matter? And I asked this recently on Twitter. I'm trying to get better on Twitter about like asking questions about photography. And I asked the other night, if you have to use fill light, where's your preferred location for the fill light? And it's all over the place. It's from the shadow side. It's from directly behind the camera. It's from the same side as your hard light source,
When I was first getting into photography, I assisted a professional photographer, and he told me that no professional would ever fill from the shadow side. Like if you're lighting a key light here, no professional would put the fill light here. He said that's the most amateur thing you could possibly do. You put the fill light near the lens.
But if you think about like a V-flat or a fill card,
Yeah.
where's that? That's always on the shadow side. It's like the light's firing into, or like people use the old reflectors out in the field.
Yep.
You're always putting that at an angle you're not putting it, like if you had a reflector on a shoot in a park, the sun would never light from the side and then even hit the reflector.
Right.
You need it on that opposite side. So.
That's true. Well, and with that test, I got to say, I was surprised by how good it looked to fill from the opposite side of the key. Like the spot that I never do, the spot that, I've been told is amateur, and I tell people is amateur. When I saw your example, I was like,
yeah,
I kind of like it.
I'm excited to get it on a big screen because in my mind, I thought they all looked kind of the same. But
I didn't.
You thought they looked really different?
Yeah, I thought they looked different.
But I have a hard time picking up some of those subtleties. But so the new F-Stoppers channel, you've been producing some content in here, but not the new channel, the old channel.
The old channel,
We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers, and we're so close. So go ahead and subscribe to this video below if you want to see more live content. Head over to the F-Stoppers channel, subscribe to that, because we're going to start pumping out more videos now that we're full-time living in Puerto Rico with homes, and we're invested, and we got our homes renovated, and we're building studios out.
We got to pay these generator diesel fees and these crazy power bills down here, so we got to get to work.
People complain about gas prices in the States, and I'm like, just what if your power bill is 3 times?
Oh man, here's a quick story for all you guys who know about it. Our crazy boat that we went in and we bought with a few other families here. So I went on a trip. The boat worked pretty well. It was reliable, and it got me to the U.S. Virgin Islands and back, no problem. One of the other owners of the boat, flies his family in to do a trip to the British Virgin Islands, pays somebody to come over, put diesel in the boat. I think he put like $3,500 of diesel in the boat, and that was a little over half of a tank.
Yep.
It's crazy. He drives out into the ocean, gets a warning there's water in the fuel. Engine shuts off, generator shuts off, has to get towed back in. They start pumping the tank. And did you see the video of the fuel in the tank?
Yeah. It's like sludge.
It's like mud is in our tank. And of course, he thinks that it's the diesel guy who he spent thousands of dollars to come. But like, this diesel guy is a relatively reputable person. I mean,
we've used him for generators, and we've used him for the boat.
Like if he put that fuel in somebody's generator, it could destroy the generator, which would be a fraction of the cost of this boat, So we were told that our generator was destroyed. The generator's $20,000. The engines, at the time we were told, were going to have to be taken apart and the fuel injectors were going to have to be replaced. That was going to be $30,000. Luckily, they got the diesel engines running again. So I think maybe they're okay for a little while.
Okay.
Who knows? The generator, I think, is done, though. So,
but we didn't replace the generator, right?
No, the generator's pretty old.
I was thinking we had replaced it.
No, thank God. No,
okay, we were talking about replacing it when we bought the boat.
Yeah, we didn't. So
I've never understood the saying, like, the greatest days are the day you buy a boat and the day you sell it, more than now, because I've kind of wanted to get out of this boat for a while.
Yeah.
And then when we bought homes, I was like, maybe we shouldn't get out because it's like the one kind of fun thing we have to do now that we've lost all the crazy amenities of the last house. And I don't know. I hear stories like this, and I'm like, what are we doing with this boat? We just have to start using it. We just have to go
When
out.
I am in the chat with the owners of the boat and they tell me everything that's wrong and I just get bill after bill after bill for the boat, I live in regret. But when I am on the boat and I am driving the boat, I'm like, this is freaking awesome. Like, I'm in the middle of the ocean on this boat that I partially own. That's super cool. I love it. But
I was telling people at the party, because I saw Mike, who went with you on this trip, and I was just like, we just need to do longer trips. Because if you have to pay for the gas to get somewhere and back, you don't want to be there for 2 nights. You'd want to be there for 5 nights. And like, really, that's the most expensive part of the trip.
The problem is, man, with a baby, holy crap, dude. This is the first trip we took overnight with him, and he sleeps so good here. He sleeps 8 or 9 hours every night. Perfect. We get on this boat. Every 45 minutes, he's waking up. He's screaming. He's kicking. He did not have a good time.
He thinks he's back in the womb. He doesn't want to be in there.
They should be quiet in the womb. So I had a good time, but I was ready to get back. So
maybe there's a middle ground where you could still. You don't want to rent a place if you have the boat, because the boat is the place.
Yeah, that's what you're paying big bucks for. So
yeah, well, hopefully everything's good, and I don't know. We'll talk off camera a little bit more about it, but I'm just like, if it's the diesel guy, there should be a ton of other people. Unless we used his entire payload.
Probably. I mean, our boat takes so much diesel.
So I would have thought there was other people that would have been affected. And that's like his reputation, and like, are they monitoring when it's coming off a big truck? Do they see what's coming out, and has he tested it?
Right?
Like, you would think there'd be like security checkpoints.
Or there'd be some sort of fuel filter on his truck.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Apparently, he's no longer responding to our guys' phone calls. So we did get one more super chat a second ago. Says, love you guys. Seriously, anything you always do inspires, even if you got to wear pants. Thank you very much.
Who says we're wearing pants? We got to figure out this frame rate thing. This is like...
Yeah, it's really weird. Now it's good again.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you for watching, and we're gonna get better at this live stream thing. We're gonna figure it out, and we'll do it more often. Once again, if you have taken any cool pictures this year, head over to fstoppers.com/contests. You can upload for the next critique. We'll try to film it next week. And head over to fstoppers.com/store to check out our tutorials. If you
I've made a new discount code.
Oh.
You want to reveal it?
I don't know what it is. You tell.
If you use YouTube,
okay,
you can save a percentage.
Don't even tell.
It's a percentage.
You don't even know.
It's a good percentage.
Yeah, okay.
So just type in YouTube. If you want to find out what the percentage is, go over to fstoppers.com/store and then type in YouTube when you check out. And we have a new discount code for all of our YouTube followers. So.
And even if you're not interested in buying a tutorial, whatever, check out the hero shot by Brian Rogers Jr. It's on fstoppers.com/store. Just check out his portfolio, check out the promo for that video, and then we've done some free content that we put on YouTube of his, so you don't have to buy anything. But
you can see how he lights a bottle.
Yeah, which is kind of similar to one of the bottles here, but it's just, again, the level of polish of his images is just crazy. It's up there. But all right, I think it's time to go.
Yep.
See you guys.